Today, we're going to talk about the fact that there is no perfect age to get pregnant. There is no right and there is no wrong. It was very interesting because as I channeled these messages, it started going in all directions, and I had to question and go a little deeper and hear it how it started. So the first messages that came through when I started channeling was that baby's timing is always precise and never random. There's no right or wrong age to get pregnant. Don't let others, don't let society's judgments tell you otherwise. A person's existence is far more complex, it's far more layered for anyone to give its opinion. Plus, people's opinions aren't always well informed. We are on this earth to make choices, to take decisions. We have to take the full responsibility for them. So stand up for what you believe. And even though this might sound harsh, when I channeled it, the message was loud and clear: is don't use others as excuse to hide behind because you don't want the responsibility of making choices. It's okay for you to do that. This is part of life and this is part of existence. A child will, or the soul of a child to be, will always choose the timing and their circumstances. They choose you because of your family, but they might also choose you because you're going to be a single parent, or they will come because of karma and because of siblings and for the context that you provide for this soul to start to start its incarnation. It's going to give them the basis of their entire existence. So they choose that knowingly. Okay, it's not random. This is not a matter of luck. It was planned. It was prepared. Now we're going to go deeper into this age matter. That's when it started going all over the place with the ages, the planned pregnancies, unplanned pregnancies. And the first one that came, it was a bit tricky. I kept hearing 14, 15 years old, 14, 15, 16. And I could tell that now I could be talking to you who are pregnant. You might be very young and you're pregnant, or you might be the parent of someone who's very young and pregnant. So I could tell there was this sensitivity to keep in mind that, yes, it's not easy to tell someone, oh, keep that child, or you have to abort, you're too young, or I could see that there were a lot of factors to keep in. So it is a family decision at that point. Of course, are you able to sustain yourself? There is the matter of money and what are your parents thinking? Are they supporting you, not supporting you? Do you have to go against everyone's decision? Is your partner supporting you, not supporting you? So there were so many things. And then came, okay, do I go against? What if my parents decide that they're not going to support my choice and they don't want society to or the neighborhood or people to judge me, so they prefer that I go away. So it's a very, very heavy and strong decision. And of course, there were all these things of, what about my future? Do I still have a future? Can I get sometimes married again? What about my career? What about my studies? What about my future? So I was hearing all those questions that one might ask if you're very young and you get pregnant. But from what I understand is that a child is not something that will destroy your life. It's you have to dedicate a lot of time and energy to a child, to your child. But it's not always going to be like this, that you have to sacrifice yourself. You will still be able to do a lot of things. I was hearing that you can travel, you can work, you can remarry. There were a lot of things to support or to say it's not such a bad thing to have a child when you're very young. So again, I'm not saying you should have it. Another message that came through, and this is also through, it happened through many of my readings. Um, Again, there's no judgment here. But if you were to choose to abort, just know that I've heard this many times when I was doing readings with clients and I did not know them and I did not know their history. And the spirit babies would say, we have we have already felt this woman's warmth in her body. We've been in her body before, and we are waiting for her to get pregnant again. And here the message was, she was pregnant. We've been in her body. There was a miscarriage or an abortion, but we are sticking around and we're coming back again. So whatever society says, or some religions may be saying, in my experience, there's not always such a harsh judgment. Um, Now came the unplanned pregnancy. I have done a video about that already, so I am going to give you the link for what happens when it's an unplanned pregnancy. But basically, you can talk to the child, you can negotiate with the child. You have several options. You can ask for the soul to come back at another time. You can make an agreement, or you can ask for that soul to help you change the circumstances of your life if you're not happy the way things are now, to make the necessary changes for the circumstances to feel right for you in order to have that child. And finally, then came the advanced age, when you're 40 plus. Just know that I've been working recently with women who were between 44 and 48, and they are pregnant. It's not easy. Sometimes it's been a matter of few years. They had to go through different donors, different surrogates, different clinics, but it ends up working for them, and they do get pregnant, and they carry to term, and there is no disease. What was interesting in those is that, again, the children do choose their donors, they do choose their genetics, they do choose the right timing. I remember once, when you ask for donors, you have this option of them meeting in real life at a later stage. If there is going to be a relationship between them, and the baggage that they have and the lineage that they come from, they will choose a specific soul. I also had the case recently of a surrogate where it seemed that it mattered for the to choose the right surrogate, and the soul that was going to experience it did it knowingly, because it had a karmic contract that it needed to fulfill. So this was the type of birth that this soul was choosing for herself. So again, in all these cases where you might feel it's a bit extreme, it comes back to stand up for what you believe, stand up for what you want. Don't let society tell you otherwise. Sometimes the children will choose you, and they will choose to come with that age gap, because they have to experience life without parents relatively young as compared to some others. And sometimes they're meant to be alone, and sometimes they're meant to be experiencing this life with siblings, so that if the parents, or when the parents will leave, they won't be alone, or they will be alone. And that is part of their choices. They choose you knowing that this is going to happen, and it is part of their learning curve on this earth. So I hope that was helpful. If you want to discuss your case a bit more, feel free to contact me, and we will dig a little if you need guidance or if you need help. See you soon.